Welcome to I May Be Wrong.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
But I don't think so. We're broadcasting from the greater Nashville area, the home of country music, beyond the borders of political correctness and identity politics. Facts and faith are our demarcations. Truth lights our path.
Here's the Barry White of Podcast Radio,
the venerable Alfonso Ashworth.
Well, welcome to another exciting episode of I May Be Wrong, but I Don't Think So. Of course, I'm your humble host, Alfonso Ashworth. Of course, I want to welcome you to the program. I see that some of are already chiming in the chat room, in the Facebook page. Welcome to the show, Ruby Ruffin. I see that you're in the Facebook page. If you would like to make a comment, you have a question, you want to say something about the show, you can do so on my Facebook page, also on YouTube Live. We broadcast there every Wednesday as well. You can also go to my website at I May Be Wrong, but I Don't Think So.com. That will get you in there, and you can find out what's going on the program. You know, folks, there's a lot of things happening that is just twirling and twisting and all these little bitty intricate things that are happening in politics, you know, with the COVID, with what's going on with the presidential election. And tonight is a debate with the vice president, with Vice President Pence and, of course, Senator Kamala Harris, who is the Democratic running mate of Joe Biden. All this happening. The president just got, tested positive. He's now out. He's back at the White House. And within 3 days, he was back up and back going. I don't think he was ever down. I don't think the president was ever down with this virus. Now, of course, we're not diminishing the fact that a lot of people have been diagnosed with this virus. There's been a lot of people that have experienced this. And also there's a lot of people that have unfortunately died from this virus. But that's no different than any other pandemic or any flu or anything that we have to deal with throughout our daily lives. Cancer is heart disease. All these problems that people have with sugar diabetes. Then you have things that have strokes. You have people with mental illness. All these things affect us in some way, somehow. And of course, death is going to come no matter what you do. So if you got something you want to say, please do so. I see that there are people viewing in. And of course, if you want to make a comment, look, lies, man, and hate, just pure, unadulterated hate. This is what 1 Peter 5:8 says. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Hate will devour you. Listen to these people. Listen to the people on the media. Listen to those in entertainment and sports. Listen to how much they hate this president. Now, some people would say that President Trump brought some of this on himself. He started out calling people names, Little Marco, Lion Ted. All these things he was using to spur on this debate and exposing these people. But hate has come to a whole nother level when you hope someone dies, or when you hope something happens to their family members, or if you think that you can just say, well, I hate this person, you don't even know them. I had someone tell me on my own Facebook page that I was losing my grip. And I had to tell them, you haven't seen me lose my grip yet. You don't want to. Of course, they quiet down. But they come on, they say that you hate somebody. And the thing is, I don't hate anyone. I hate sin. I can go along with what God says about sin. I hate sin. Of course, we see that Ruby Ruffin is saying LOL. She also says amen. Yeah, I hate sin. But I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like that somehow that people are allowed to just talk to someone any way that they wish. Let's play a little video. Let's get the show started out. Of course, like I said, you can join me at I may be wrong, but I don't think so.com. You can be a subscriber. You can also support the show. Someone brought me this. This is amazing. I want to show you guys this. One of my supporters brought me this, and this is one of the flags for police. And they've dropped this off. They told me they wanted to support this program, and they are they're listeners to the program and supporters of the program. I also have people give me things and support me in many, many ways, and I really appreciate it. Let's get this started off. Let's get this show started off with a video that clearly demonstrates how far the Democrats and the media are willing to go in order to deceive and trick the American people. Call Donald Trump what you will. Donald Trump just comes straight at you. Donald Trump does not pull any tricks or punches. He just tells you exactly what he's thinking. Donald Trump does not try to soften the blow for you. He's like a Mike Tyson. He's throwing knockout punches. And the media and the Democrats and entertainment, they don't know how to deal with somebody who comes straight at them like a bull in a china shop. They can't handle it. Listen to what they have to say. Check this out.
About black and brown Americans, lying about how minorities will destroy the suburbs, whipping up violence and intimidation, and they're pinning it all on what's been an overwhelmingly peaceful movement for racial solidarity. It's true. Research backs it up. Only a tiny fraction of demonstrations have had any violence at all. So what the president is doing is once again patently false. It's morally wrong. And yes, it is racist. But that doesn't mean it won't work. Because this is a difficult time, a confusing time. And when people hear these lies and crazy conspiracies repeated over and over and over again, they don't know what to think. With everything going on in their lives, they don't have time to fact-check falsehoods being spread throughout the internet.
They don't have to fact-check.
And even reasonable people might get scared.
They see it.
And the one thing this president is really, really good at is using fear and confusion and spreading lies to win.
Good news is,
listen to this
for
joke.
Me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
He's got a
I
fetish.
want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older too. So it's great to see you. So thank you. You see, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Wow.
Banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
There you have it. There you have it. You know, I never would have imagined, and I rarely make a negative comment about Michelle, former First Lady. Let's call her what she is. Former First Lady Michelle Obama. A person who grew up in America in a middle-class home, really never had much struggle that I'm aware of. Her family was well off. She's been very blessed to live in the greatest country in the history of the world. And as she just will tell you, her ancestors, of course, were treated horribly. But she cannot stand there and just lie through her teeth. You saw the videos. You've seen the chaos on the streets. You've seen the people being beaten. You've seen the people being murdered. And she has the unmitigated audacity to do a video for 24 minutes. 24 minutes of mendacity, lies, and liars. You seen the chaos. You seen the riots, 100 straight days in Portland. You seen the attacks on individuals in their cars as they drive, trying to get from point A to point B. You've seen it. AT says, Mike, cough, cough. I mean, Michelle. He says she must be stack them shelves with excellence. She must not be aware of how Biden is one of the biggest liars that you could ever imagine in terms of his political career. If you go back and listen to Joe Biden's political career, it's one unrelenting chain of lies and plagiarism. The man plagiarizes more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. There's a video out there of Joe Biden and his lies. I've got a copy of it, and I may just play that before the show, before we wrap the show up, because Joe Biden is a classic liar. He's a liar that he has figured out a way to get away with it because the media, the old-time media, used to hold him accountable for it. The new age media doesn't hold him accountable for it at all, because Joe Biden is he's part of the system. He's part of he's part of the swamp. He has been for 47 years. Of course, if you want to know more about what we do on our show, please go to ImayBeWrongButIDon'tThinkSo.com. Because, I'm here every Wednesday, and I try my best to be fair-minded. But hate, Christians, you don't have a right to hate. You don't have a right to hate. But you have a right to stand up against hatred. You have an obligation to stand up against those who are tormenting our babies in the womb. You don't only have a right, you have a moral obligation to stand up and fight against those who are murdering babies in the womb. But you don't have a right to hate people or hate other people and hate and create hatred. But you have an obligation to stand up against it. Good morning, Nefertiti Jones. She's someone who has part of my show. She comes on a regular basis. I really appreciate it. Says everyone serves a purpose in that system. Look, they use Michelle Obama. I'm not here to bash Michelle Obama. I think Michelle Obama, by and large, was a good first lady. I didn't like the food program. Most people and most kids didn't like it. They wouldn't eat the food. They were throwing the food away. They had to go back to feed them the regular lunch because the kids rejected it. That's America. That's what we do. We have a right. We have a freedom. If I don't want to wear a mask, you can't make me wear a mask. You can ask me to wear one. You can suggest that I wear one. You can make a very good argument why I should wear a mask. But you're not punishing me or threatening me or telling me that I'm somehow killing other people because I refuse to wear a mask. By the way, it's been proven that there are just as many people who are catching this virus that are wearing masks. It's just as many. They don't know. That's why the CDC keeps changing their position. They keep changing. They changed it again. Now they're telling you that it's like an aerosol that can stay in the air for hours. Months ago, they was telling us that, hey, no threat. You can't get it through human contact. No threat. You have to be like right in somebody's face for several minutes, and they have to be coughing on you and sneezing on you. Now it's changed again. But see, that's science. Science is never settled, folks. That's the whole point. There is no such thing as settled science. And the people who talk about it are liars, and they're trying to get you to go toward their way of politics, global warming. They can't prove it. because of the viruses come through the mask. That's right. Look, that'd be almost like saying you trying to block a mosquito from coming through a chain link fence. That's how small of a particle this virus is supposed to be. Oh, well, yeah, but the mask, now we can save more lives. You have no idea how many people have officially died from COVID. Not with COVID, but from COVID. See, words matter. This is what they won't tell you. Words matter. They won't tell you how many people have died from COVID. They want to tell you how many has died with COVID. And the truth is the numbers that have died with COVID are really, really small. They have died actually from COVID. And for as young people, the numbers have not even barely clicked the chart. Universities, as far as I know, nobody on a university campus has died from COVID. But they shutting down the universities again. They shut down your businesses. And now here Governor Cuomo in the state of New York is telling people of faith, the biggest threat, he said it, the biggest threat to us from this virus are people who are gathering in places of worship. So he's telling the synagogues, if you go to worship, I'm going to fine you $15,000. The Jewish population is up in arms in New York City. That governor is a Gestapo Nazi, just like the Democrats. Of course, Ruby says, I hear only 6% of the numbers they give. Cavell says, exactly, sir, great point. We've shut down our economy based on a narrative that is actually a false narrative. Dr. Fauci, I knew the man was a con artist the first time I saw him stand on the podium, and it's called discernment, by the way. My discernment told me this man he's making my spirit feel uneasy. Because everything the president would say positive, he'd come out with something negative. Look, if you were playing on a sports team and your coach never gave you any hope, or your coach never gave you any encouragement, and your coach never told you that you can win, you're going to be the biggest loser. Then you can always go around blaming your losses on everyone else. Every time the president of the United States tries to give this country a little hope, a little encouragement, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, the Democrats come and smash the light out, blow the candle out. Some of them even saying they won't even take the virus vaccine if it comes out because Donald Trump is the one that is behind it. They'd rather die with a virus than to take something from the president of the United States. If that is not the ultimate form of hatred, you hate yourself. When you talk that way, you hate yourself. And that's the biggest form of hatred that there ever was, for a person created in the image of God, to turn toward you and tell you, I'd rather die. AT says Fauci's been involved with 4 past presidents and the Gates administration for years. Ruby says, come on now. I don't care. I didn't care for Fauci from the jump. Me either. Someone mentioned about the lies of Joe Biden. Think about this, my friends out there. Think about it. Joe Biden has been caught in more lies, plagiarizing more times than probably any politician in modern history. The man has been in politics for 51 years. He's been in Washington for 47 of them. Let's listen to him. Let's play the video. You decide.
Presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago, at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get the university.
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground, and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much, because as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't.
The man,
all the times
the man can't help but lie.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
the health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, you know, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh, yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized. That's
a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating. These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
Voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship.
Another lie.
Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class.
Another
I was
lie.
the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden
now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye-bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
It's in terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead. We'll be...
Well,
presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy
you know what
3
else,
weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair.
Here, folks? What else can I say? What else can I add to this equation? I only do a 30-minute segment once a week. I could string enough videos together that would last to Kingdom Come with these jokers lying and conniving and stealing and cheating. His son got all that money. $3 billion to a company that he was with, $1.4 million for himself personally. This guy is a thief. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a con man. He's a racist. This man has been doing this to the black community since he said they're going to put y'all back in chains. Him and Hillary Clinton called the black people predators. Called them predators. Joe Biden said he didn't want his children to go to a jungle in a school. Back when he was for segregation, when he was best friends with the Ku Klux Klan, when he was best friend with Robert Byrd, who was the grand cyclops of the Klan. They were against busing. His own running mate called him out for it during the debate of the Democratic debate, called him out for his stance against busing. And the black community will be blind as a mouse and go vote for him. They're going to vote for him, folks. They're going to vote for him because Obama says so. They're going to vote for him because Michelle Obama says so. They're going to vote for him because Jimmy Kimmel says so. They're going to vote for him because somebody in Hollywood says so. That's how blind many are. You can show them facts all day long. Ruby Ruffin said, sure did say it. Yes, he said it. Look, I could keep going back and get video clips of Joe Biden saying some of the most dumb things ever. When he said, you ain't even black. If you don't vote for him, you don't know the difference between voting for him and Trump, then you ain't black. What he just recently said about a black lady putting groceries on the shelves. That's how he was able to stay in quarantine, because some black ladies out there stocking the shelves. This guy is in the 1950s. He ain't come out of it. But you're going to vote for him because you're that naive. You're that full of hatred. You don't like Trump's style, but you can't prove that he's a racist. I hear it all the time. He's a racist. I say, prove it. Show me something. Okay, so they'll go dig up a picture that's been altered where his parents are dressed up like Ku Klux Klan. Get out of here. Get out of here. A third grade Photoshop person can tell you that was fake. You have no evidence that the man is racist. Matter of fact, all the evidence points to is that he loves this country. He wants everybody to have an opportunity. Black, white, brown, green, polka dot. He wants everyone to have the American dream like he's had. Why did he give up his life and come and work to turn around and have everyone hate him? The man could have stayed back at his resort, been playing golf, living large. No, he gives all that up to come and be president of the United States and don't even take a salary. Cavell says, have you seen his criminal justice platform? One name, William Brennan. All you need to know. That's right. And AT says, and a Hispanic lady, he said both. Yeah, look, Biden has said stuff about every race you can imagine. The Korean people, he had something to say about them. He has said derogatory things to almost everyone. And that ain't even counting to him going around sniffing women's hair and touching little children inappropriately. I've showed the video where he's touching a little girl and she's moving away. Children know when things have been done inappropriately. They have a sense. They have a protection against it. And President Trump has never, ever said anything in that manner about children. And I've had people try to convince me of things about President Trump that they have no evidence of, and they've heard it on somebody's website. That's hatred. Don't be consumed with hate. Hate will destroy you. Hate will consume you. And hate will devour you. We must not hate. We must pray for our enemies. We must love our neighbors as we love ourselves. The Democratic Party is out of control. But I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a great program. Thanks for all the comments in the chat room. I really appreciate it. It's still going. Y'all can continue to talk. in the chat room on Facebook. You can join me, of course, at I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so.com. And, of course, as I always end the show, I want to say God bless you. God bless America. God bless our president. And please, Mr. President, get well soon. And above all, God bless our children in and outside the womb.
You've been listening to Alfonso Ashworth, the Barry White of Podcast Radio. Go forth and share his message. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Remember, no two people can ever occupy the same place at the same time. You were uniquely and wonderfully made. Born an original. Don't die a copy. God bless. Peace.